الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك اللهم لك الحمد حتى ترضى ولك الحمد إذا رضيت ولك الحمد بعد الرضا والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحابته الكرام حماة الدين وعلينا معهم وفيهم يا رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله
جزاكم الله خيرا for attending this event organized by the Derby Sunni movement. Some of you may have been present in our last seminar regarding the concept of bid'ah, when we proved from the adillah of the Quraan, the Sunnah, the Aqwaal of the A'immah, that al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah have the correct concept of bid'ah, that it is divided into two parts. That there is a bid'ah which is hasana, and there is a bid'ah which is sayyi'ah, reprehensible bid'ah. Today we deal with another concept more fundamental than the one we've already dealt with. And we mentioned that these seminars are around those concepts which have been misconstrued by certain aspects of this community, of the Muslim community and the Muslim Ummah, where a small minority label the great majority as wrongdoers, as innovators, and go further and cast them outside the sphere of Islam by calling them mushrikun. Today we discuss the concept of shirk and how certain people, small groups within the Ummah, have begun pointing fingers at the vast majority of the Muslims of the world, claiming that the Ummah is in shirk and outside the da'irah circle of Islam, because as we know, shirk is that sin and that act which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never forgive. And for that act, a person will enter the fire and not leave it. So inshallah today we aim to look at the Qur'an, the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the actions of the Sahaba, and the Aqwaal and statements of the A'immah in relation to the concept of shirk, to prove that al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, the vast majority of the Muslims of the world, are not committing shirk, nor are they mushrikun. Rather, those who have labeled them have a lot of questions pointed towards them regarding these accusations. Inshallah, the first thing we need to define then regarding the concept of shirk is what exactly is Tawheed. Tawheed. Because if we are being accused of being mushrikun, of people who associate partners with Allah, then we need to define what is Tawheed, because that is the thing which is opposed to shirk. Directly opposed to shirk is the concept of Tawheed. And we generally probably know that Tawheed means that we consider Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be one. We consider Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be one. If we turn to the A'immah of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, how have they defined this concept of Tawheed? The first quote we have on the first slide, that you should have all in front of you inshallah, is the qawl of al-Imam al-Bajuri rahimahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala in his hashiyah, in his commentary on the book al-Jawhar at-Tawheed, which is one of the mother books of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah inside Aqidah. And al-Imam al-Bajuri inside his quote regarding at-Tawheed says, هو إفراد المعبود بالعبادة مع اعتقاد وحدته والتصديق بها ذاتا وصفاتا وأفعالا. And the translation is in front of you. Tawheed is the singular worship, ibadah of Allah the Most High, with total and complete belief and affirmation in the uniqueness and perfection of His essence, attributes and actions. Alhamdulillah, we can say that al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah are upon this to this day. That we believe and we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fully knowing that none is like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not in His essence, nor in His attributes, nor in His actions. No one shares with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala any of these things. Anybody with an open mind who looks at the vast majority of the Muslims of the world, will accept this fact. Unfortunately, there are diseased hearts and minds out there who continue to have su'adhan, bad opinion of the Muslims. Any action they see from within the Muslim body, they attribute it to shirk. And this is based upon certain notions which they have contrived in their heads, which inshallah throughout this seminar we will clarify. So here we have defined Tawheed as being the singular worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That somebody worships Allah alone, knowing full well and believing that nothing is like unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, neither in His essence subhanahu wa ta'ala, nor in His attributes as He describes Himself in the Qur'an, and as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has explained to us, nor in His divine actions. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unique and there is nothing like unto Him. This then is Tawheed, that concept which has its direct opposite in that thing which we know as Shirk. If we consider then that this is the definition of Tawheed, and as people with open minds, we can generally say that the vast majority of the Muslims of the world have understood this concept and they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as being one and free of any partner in all the aspects that we have mentioned. What is its direct opposite then? It is what we call shirk. What do the A'imma, the ulama of al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah say regarding the concept of shirk? On the same slide, we have the qawl of al-Allama Sa'duddin al-Tahtazani rahimahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala. One of the A'imma leaders of al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah in the sphere of aqaid, belief. He says, نقول الإشراك هو إثبات الشريك في الألوهية بمعنى وجوب الوجود كما المجوس وبمعنى استحقاق العبادة كما لعبدة الأصنام. He says, rahimahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala, we say that committing shirk is the establishing of a partner in the divinity of Allah Azza wa Jal, by considering a thing to be necessary in its existence, like the Majus, who are the Majus, the fire worshippers. Or by considering it to be worthy of worship like the idol worshippers. Just to explain then, the fire worshippers believe that the world was created by two beings. They believe that two beings, two gods exist. They worship one of them, but the other one they say is a dark force or the evil force, the satanic force. They believe it's a god, but they don't worship it. They claim they worship the one who is opposite to this satanic force. So they believe in something existing without being created. So they believe in two creators. They claim there are two creators of the universe. That both of the creators, in order to be creators, were themselves uncreated. Therefore, they believe there are two creators. So they believe there is a God who is the creator of the universe and that He should be worshipped. Then they believe that alongside Him there is an evil force. It too is a God. And then he mentioned that Imam Sa'duddin al-Tahtazani rahmatullah alayhi, or by considering it to be worthy of worship like the idol worshippers. The idol worshippers used to claim that they worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are rebuked many times inside the Qur'an because it was a lie. They did not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They committed shirk. They believed in many gods, idols, and they believed that these idols were worthy of worship, worthy of ibadah. And Imam Sa'duddin al-Taftazani says, rahmatullah alayhi, that in both meanings there is shirk. To believe that something exists without being created. This is an attribute which only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala possesses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His existence is necessary. If we look at the world, the universe, it must have been created. That creator Himself could not have been created. Otherwise He would be part of creation. Therefore, He is wajibul wujud, necessary in His existence and uncreated. So if anybody believes there is something other than Allah which is uncreated, this is shirk. Similarly, if somebody believes there is something other than Allah that is worthy of worship, this is also shirk. We move to the next slide. Here is a further clarification of shirk according to al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah. We have turned to the great mufassir of the Qur'an, the great commentator of the Qur'an, al-Imam al-Qurtubi rahmatullah alayhi, in Tafsir al-Qurtubi, when he gives the tafsir of the ayah, وَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا, and worship Allah and do not associate or ascribe any partner to Him. He says, rahimahullah ta'ala, أَصْلُهُ اعْتِقَادُ شَرِيكٍ لِلَّهِ فِي أُلُوهِيَّتِهِ وهو الشرك الأعظم وهو الشرك الجاهلية وهو المراد بقوله تعالى إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. ويليه في الرتبة اعتقاد شريك لله تعالى في الفعل وهو قول من قال إن موجودا ما غير الله تعالى يستقل بإحداث فعل وإيجاده وإن لم يعتقد كونه إلها. He says, in essence, shirk is the belief that there is a partner to Allah in His divinity. And it is the greatest of shirk. And it is the shirk of the people of the Jahiliyyah, period of ignorance before Islam. And it is the type of shirk which many of those people who falsely accuse Ahl-Sunnah of shirk, it is a type of shirk that they accuse us of. They say we are like the worshippers of the idols, we are like the Hindus, they say we are like the people in India who worship the idols. A'udhu billah. He continues and says, and it is intended by Allah the Most High in His statement, indeed Allah does not forgive that partners be ascribed with Him, and He forgives all that is below it to whomever He wills. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive every sin. This is from the rahmah of Allah. But Allah will not forgive if someone associates partners with Him. And following it in degree is the belief that there is a partner to Allah in divine action. And it is the statement of the one who says, indeed something in existence other than Allah Most High acts independently in the performance of an act and its creation, even if he does not consider it to be a God. Meaning that if somebody considered there to be something or someone inside creation who acts and does things or creates anything independently, then that is shirk. To consider that anyone creates anything is shirk straight away, because creation, the act of creating, is the act of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. He brings out of nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings into creation something out of nothing. What if somebody believed there is something within creation who acts independently, does something without needing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is in no need of Allah? This is also shirk, even if the person didn't worship that thing or that person, but in his heart and mind he believed that person or thing doesn't act independently. Then we al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah say that is without doubt shirk. Without doubt shirk. If we go to the next slide. So far we have given some of the statements, aqwal, of the A'immah of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah regarding our understanding of shirk as al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah. What is the summary or overview of this? We can, in khulasa, in summary, say it is shirk to consider anyone or anything other than Allah as necessary in existence and uncreated. If we believe anything is wajib al-wujud, that its existence is necessary, then we must believe that it is uncreated. There is nothing uncreated except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To believe anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is uncreated is shirk. To consider anyone or anything worthy of worship other than Allah is also shirk. To consider anyone or anything as having the divine attributes of Allah is also shirk. To consider anyone or anything as acting independently, without the permission or without the support or without permission or power from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that too is shirk. The punishment of shirk is eternal punishment in the hellfire. The verse we've already read. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا بَعِيدًا. In Surah An-Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, indeed Allah does not forgive that partners be ascribed with Him, and He forgives all that is below it to whomsoever He wills. So we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept the act of shirk in terms of His forgiveness. So those who accuse al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah of shirk accuse us of a great thing. It means that they see us outside the circle of Islam, outside of the rahmah of Allah, as being eternally punished within the hellfire. Insha'Allah, we now move into a defense or a clarification of the position of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah in some of the key concepts in which we are accused of being mushrikun. If we go to the next slide, we define first the concept of ibadah. Because we mentioned at the very beginning, to worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shirk. We must therefore define what is ibadah. Because people accuse us of worshipping, na'udhu billah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They accuse us of worshipping the awliya, accuse us of worshipping the graves, and many other things. If we look, what does As-Sayyid al-Imam Ibn Abidin al-Shami, rahimahullah tabarak wa ta'ala, one of the A'immah leaders of the Imams of fiqh of the madhab of the Hanafi school in the recent past. In his book, Rad al-Muhtar, which is considered a major book within the Hanafi school for legal rules, he defines al-ibadah. He says, al-ibadatu ibaratun al-khudu'i wa-tadhalluli wa hadduha fi'lun la yuradu bihi illa ta'abimullahi ta'ala bi-amrih. Ibadah is an expression of submission and self-abasement, and its definition is an action by which nothing is sought except the reverence of Allah the Most High in accordance with His command. This is the definition of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah regarding al-Ibadah. Now some people, recently we had to put it into some kind of light. We had a question from a brother regarding the concept of kissing someone's feet. And what was the adillah of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah? What was the evidence of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah for the permissibility of kissing someone's feet? Now, in clarification of the question, we sent a question back to the brother and said to him that the person who's asking you or challenging you on this, what is he saying? Is it not allowed? Is he saying it is shirk? Is he saying it is bid'ah? Is he saying it doesn't have an evidence? The brother said he's saying it is shirk. We said to him, if we prove to him that it is not, and that there is evidence for it, will he accept? The brother, he said that he was arguing with him over a text message. So, when the clarification came back and we proved to him that it is proven that the Sahaba kissed the feet of the Prophet ﷺ, he changed his question, the questioner. He said, or he changed his allegation, he said, it is not shirk for the Prophet ﷺ, but prove it for other than him. Because if it is done for other than him, then it is shirk. We turned to him and we said to the brother, you must tell the brother who is questioning you that he's on dangerous ground. He has not understood shirk, nor has he understood tawheed. If an action is done to the Prophet ﷺ, it is not shirk. And when that same action is done when it is done for the Prophet ﷺ, it is not shirk. If it is done for other than the Prophet ﷺ, it is shirk. Shirk is associating partners with Allah, not associating partners with the Prophet ﷺ, which shows you the shallow nature of many of these people who accuse al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah of shirk. They do not themselves understand tawheed, yet they are asking questions like this. And it is proven that in Adab al-Mufrad, the kitab of Imam al-Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi, in a collection of hadith, he mentions regarding the kissing of the feet of Sayyidina al-Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu by Sayyidina Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the Sahabi. He kissed his feet knowing that he is from Ahl Bayt Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But we are talking to people who unfortunately have become deaf, dumb and blind. They don't understand the distinction between shirk and tawheed, that they ask these questions. So it's important to define ibadah. If we continue to the definition of Imam al-Raghib al-Asfahani, rahmatullah alayhi, one of the great mufassirun as well, in his book, Kitab al-Mufradat, where he discusses the definitions of many words, he mentions al-ubudiyatu, the word al-ubudiyatu, servitude. Al-ubudiyatu idharu al-tadhallul. He says, وَالْعِبَادَةُ أَبْلَغُ مِنْهَا لأنها غاية التذلل ولا يستحقها إلا من له غاية الإفضال وهو الله تبارك وتعالى ولهذا قال ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه. Servitude is the manifestation of self-abasement and ibadah. Servitude is the manifestation of self-abasement. And the word ibadah is even more expressive than this, because it is the utmost degree of self-abasement. And no one is worthy of it except he who possesses the utmost degree of bestowal, and that is Allah the Most High. And for that reason he has said that you do not worship except Him. When we have reverence and when we have self-abasement before Allah, and we have reverence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is with the belief that He is wajibul wujud, He is the creator of the universe, and He is mustahiq of al-ibadah, and He is our creator, and He is in need of no one. When we have reverence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or to bring it closer to our minds, in our reality in front of us now, if I was to ask one of you to come and sit on the chair, like alhamdulillah, from the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is for us to respect our elders. So the Shaykh, alhamdulillah, he's been put on a chair when the brothers saw him when he came in. He told him to sit on a chair. Are they going to say this is shirk now? Because we had reverence of him, we had ta'zeem of him. But this ta'zeem is not to the had, not to the level where we have read here from the Aqwaal of the A'immah. We read from the Aqwaal of the A'immah, the leaders of this ummah, that if someone has ta'zeem of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worships Him, it's from the perspective that they know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is worthy of worship because He is the creator of the universe. But having respect to your brothers or reverence to your brothers, so when somebody older than you comes to tell them to sit on the chair, it's from the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to have reverence, ta'zeem for your elders. But this ta'zeem is not of the level of that ta'zeem which is ibadah. Na'udhu billah, we do not consider the one older than us worthy of worship. Astaghfirullah. Nor do we consider him wajibul wujud, that he is necessary in his existence. Which shows you the shallowness of those who throw accusations at us when we have reverence for certain signs of Allah. Allah says in the Qur'an, وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. He who has reverence of the signs of Allah, then that is from the piety of the hearts. The word ta'zeem here, وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ, whoever has ta'zeem of the signs of Allah. What is the greatest sign of Allah? It is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we do not have reverence for him, where is our iman? The next slide. The danger of accusing a Muslim of shirk is mentioned in a very powerful hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. عن حذيفة بن اليمان رضي الله تبارك وتعالى عنه أنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما أتخوف عليكم رجل قرأ القرآن حتى إذا رؤيت بهجته عليه وكان رضا للإسلام غيره إلى ما شاء الله فانسلخ منه ونبضه وراء ظهره وسعى على جاره بالسيف ورماه بالشرك قال قلت يا نبي الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أيهما أولى بالشرك المرمي أم الرامي قال بل الرامي. Sayyiduna Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman radiyallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala anhu said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, verily I fear for you about a man who will read the Qur'an until its light will be seen upon him. He will come to personify Islam. Then he will change it to whatever Allah wills, meaning he will leave this affair. Then he will become detached from it. He will throw it behind his back and will attack his neighbor with the sword, accusing him of shirk. I asked the Prophet ﷺ, which of the two will be more deserving of shirk, the accused or the accuser? The Prophet ﷺ said, indeed, the accuser. The accuser, it would be more right for him to be labeled the mushrik than the one he accuses. This is a strict warning to those who accuse the vast majority of the Muslim Ummah of shirk. This hadith is narrated by Ibn Hibban in his Sahih. It is narrated by Al-Hafidh Al-Haythami in Majma' Al-Zawaid, where he declared its chain to be Hasan, fair. Al-Hafidh ibn Kathir, rahmatullah alayhi, declared the chain as Jayyid, strong, in his Tafsir al-Qur'an al-Azim. This is a grave warning to those who label the Ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as mushrikun. Let us keep this in mind as we read these slides. Let us keep this in mind. Who is being accused of shirk? al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah. Who are the accusers? If we move to the next slide, we narrate from Sayyidina al-Imam al-Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi in his Sahih. He says, وَكَانَ ابْنُ عُمَرَ رضي الله عنهما يراهم شرار خلق الله تبارك وتعالى وقال إنهم انطلقوا إلى آيات نزلت في الكفار فجعلوها على المؤمنين. He is talking about who? He is talking about the Khawarij. The Khawarij, without going into too much detail, were a group who split from the main body of the Muslims in early Islam during the time of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala anhu. They accused the Sahaba, the best people to walk on this earth after the Anbiya alayhimus salam, accused them of shirk, fought them, killed many of them. They did this based upon twisting and turning certain ayahs of the Qur'an. They said, إِنِ الْحُكْمُ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. The rule and ruling is for Allah alone. Whoever goes to other than Allah for ruling becomes a kafir. They said, when you disputed Ya Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, they say they don't have respect of the Sahaba. They call them mushrikun, they call them kuffar, they call Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu kafir. A'udhu billah. They said when you disputed with Sayyidina Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, then you had a person between the two groups from each side, and then they would discuss and they would come to an agreement. So you legislated by other than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed. They claimed that arbitration was ruling by other than what Allah revealed. So they twisted the ayahs of the Qur'an. Sayyidina Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu says, the Khawarij, he says regarding the Khawarij, Sayyidina al-Imam al-Bukhari rahmatullahi narrates from Sayyidina Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu that he used to consider them, the Khawarij, the most evil of Allah's creation. And he said they set themselves upon the verses revealed concerning the disbelievers and applied them to the believers. Today, those people who accuse al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah of shirk, they take the ayahs that were revealed upon the pagans of Makkah, the people who used to worship other than Allah, and they turn them and place them upon the Muslim Ummah. So unfortunately, the trait of the Khawarij still exists in our time. If the Khawarij were pointing fingers at the best of creation after the Anbiya, don't be surprised that there are groups today pointing the finger at lesser people. al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, the Awam, al-Nas, where are the Sahaba and where are we? If we go to the next slide, we talk about the return of the Khawarij in our time. We go to the words of Sayyid al-Imam Ibn Abidin al-Shami rahmatullah alayhi once again, who is one of the Imams of the fiqh of the Hanafi school. His book, Radul Muhtar, is one of the major references in the Hanafi fiqh, rahmatullah alayhi. He was at the time of the fitna of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab al-Najdi, the one who spread this new idea of Khawarijism once again in the Ummah, in a time not far from our time, maybe approximately 200 years ago. Al-Imam Ibn Abidin al-Shami says in his book, regarding the Khawarij and who should be called Khawarij and who fulfills the criteria of Khawarij, he says, فَيَكْفِي فِيهِمْ اعْتِقَادُهُمْ كُفْرَ مَنْ خَرَجُوا عَلَيْهِ كما وقع في زماننا في أتباع عبد الوهاب الذين خرجوا من نجد وتغلبوا على الحرمين وكانوا ينتحلون مذهب الحنابلة لكنهم اعتقدوا أنهم هم المسلمون وأن من خالف اعتقادهم مشركون وَاسْتَبَاحُوا بِذَلِكَ قَتْلَ أَهْلِ السُّنَّةِ وَقَتْلَ عُلَمَائِهِمْ. He says, so it is sufficient in calling a group Khawarij the belief that those they are revolting against are disbelievers. Like what befell in our time with the followers of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, who came out from Najd and overcame the two holy sanctuaries, Makkah al-Mukarramah and Medina al-Munawwara, and outwardly claimed to follow the Hanbali school, though they did not. But they believed that they were the only Muslims, and whoever opposed them were disbelievers, and they made permissible the killing of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah and its ulama. This is recorded in the books of history. The problem is, we people do not read history. The people who accuse us do not read history, and unfortunately we al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah have become lazy. We don't read about the deen, and we do not read about our history. If you read the pages of history, they are filled with the blood of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah in the last 200 years. When the Najdi movement was formed by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, one of the great ulama of that time, the Sayyid Ahmad Zaini Dahlan al-Makki rahmatullah alayhi, one of the great awliya and ulama of this ummah, writes in detail their history, how they killed the people of Taif. They made the streets of Taif run with the blood of Muslims with the accusations of shirk. They entered into Makkah and Medina. They killed one of the mu'adhdhineen, one of the ones who did adhan, for reciting salawat upon the Prophet ﷺ after adhan. Many horrid stories you will read about the ahwal of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah at the time of these people. They had the traits of the Khawarij. And it is their da'wah which is being propagated now. The da'wah of the Atba, the followers of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab and Najdi. This is our ulama, the ulama of al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, their contemporaries, talking about the kind of fitna they brought into this ummah. The kind of fitna they brought into this ummah in the last 200 years. This is a reality. It is something we should read into and find out about. And there is hope that if some of those who accuse us have read history, they might realize that they are following the wrong people. They are following the wrong people.